There's a problem in American Christianity, and I would like to illustrate it for you today. Imagine you're out and about and somebody walks up to you and says, "Hey, have you ever met that David guy? He's the pastor of the Little Sioux Baptist Church that meets there in Spencer, Iowa." And the other person says, "Yeah, I've met that guy before." And you reply, of course, "Oh yeah, he's a striking fellow, isn't he? Really a great guy." And they say, "Yeah, I've really enjoyed my interaction with him." And you say, "Yeah, he's been there now, I think, for 6 or 7 years." And the other person goes, "Oh no, the guy that I know, he just moved here a month ago." And you say, "No, David, the guy, he's like 240 pounds, kind of stocky." And they're like, "No, this guy's like thin as a rail, and might fall through the floorboards of a house, really. He's so skinny." And you're like, "No, Davey, he's got the beard, the beard." And they say, "No, clean shaven, glasses." What would become apparent to you? It would become rather apparent rather quickly that the two of you are talking about two completely different people. How would you know that? You would know that due to the different descriptions you're giving of the person you say is the same person, but upon further investigation, you would realize, no, we're not talking about the same David, which happens, right? That's what happens today with a man named Jesus. Everybody's going around talking about a man named Jesus, maybe I'm giving some similar traits, but as soon as you look into the details, it becomes rather apparent that we're talking about a different person. The Jesus that I worship isn't the Jesus of the culture. The sort of Jesus that has long hair, wouldn't hurt a fly, never said anything to make anybody upset. That's not my Jesus. My Jesus certainly was filled with compassion, willing to receive those who come to him. But he was also willing to make a joke and say that it's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into heaven. Can you imagine being there when he said that? He's cracking a joke. He's saying that image is supposed to come to your mind, and it's supposed to be like something along the lines of a political cartoon where they exaggerate certain features in order to make a point. That's what Jesus is doing there. My Jesus is the one who was willing to say, "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites." My Jesus isn't the type of guy who was willing to just go with the flow, never willing to say anything offensive and unwilling to condemn someone for their wrongdoing. My Jesus confronted error. My Jesus stood for what is true. My Jesus confirmed that in the beginning, God made them male and female. My Jesus confirmed that God really did judge the world with a flood and killed every single human being on the face of the planet, with the exception of 8. My Jesus confirmed the story that God overthrew 2 cities in the plain, Sodom and Gomorrah, with fire from heaven because of their sinful actions. You see, but when the world talks about a Jesus, it seems like they're talking about a different Jesus, because they are. You see, when we fashion a Jesus to suit ourselves, picking only those attributes which we want, rather than accepting the whole Christ for who he is, really accepting the person of Christ, accepting everything he said, accepting everything that he did, and then receiving the benefits of his person and his works and his teachings. Instead, the world is going around. Everyone's picking and choosing parts of Jesus that they affirm and that they feel affirm themselves. And it's a problem. And I just want to come out and say, it's a problem. When everyone is talking about a guy named Jesus, but no one gives the same description of him, you know what I have to affirm? We're talking about a different Jesus. My Jesus is the one that's revealed in the scriptures. The one that was born of a virgin, suffered, lived a perfect life, suffered under Pontius Pilate, was crucified, died, was buried, and rose again. And we have the full testimony of his life, his teachings, the teachings that were committed to the apostles and that the apostles committed to faithful men who were able to teach others also. That's my Jesus. So if your description of Jesus doesn't match the description of Jesus given in the Bible, you have a different Jesus. What you really have is an idol. I hope this is helpful. Have a good one.